everybody, and welcome back to the WrestleDude YouTube channel for another Talking Takeover review, this time for NXT Takeover 30. Another takeover event in the books, this time another takeover event in the not in the PC, at Full Sail during the whole lockdown era. It was a really good show. Had a new champion crowned, actually two new champions crowned, some really good matches here and there, some interesting moments and spots. So we're going to go through all the notes, and I will give you guys my thoughts. Alright, so the night kicked off with a three-man tag team match. It was Legado del Fantasma versus Breezango versus Lorcan and Burch. I did not get to catch this matchup just because I kind of forgot what time the kickoff show started, so I kind of missed it. But from what I heard, this matchup was really good, and I guess Breezango picked up the win after a supermodel kick from Breeze, so that is already one prediction of mine that I had gotten wrong. I had picked Lorcan and Burch to pick up the win here, just because I figured since Legado del Fantasma and Breezango were already in a feud, I felt like they would kind of cancel each other out, but apparently not. But there's always the chance that, you know, they get attacked either during the tag team title matchup or before the tag team title matchup by Legado del Fantasma. So I guess we'll see where that storyline goes, but from what I heard, this was a really good match. I still have yet to go back and watch it. I was trying to get this review out very quickly, but you know, with those three teams, I have no doubt that it was a really good matchup to start off the show. Now, the main show started off with Finn Balor versus Timothy Thatcher in, honestly, in my opinion, my favorite match of the night, just because it reminded me of another one of my favorite NXT TakeOver matches, which was Aleister Black versus Hideo Itami, just because that matchup was like such a hard-hitting matchup where they just hit these brutal strikes and were just trying to figure each other out, which is kind of like what Finn Balor and Timothy Thatcher were doing here, except instead of strikes, they were just trying to figure out submission holds, especially Timothy Thatcher. Thatcher at one point hit like this brutal slap on Finn Balor, and Balor kind of like spun around, and before he fell, he hit Thatcher with the Pele kick, and then both men fell down. At one point in the matchup, Finn Balor tried to go for the coup de grace, but he landed on his leg kind of wrong, and just the expression on Thatcher's face while Finn was like grabbing at his knee, like, ooh, my knee, Thatcher, his eyes like went super wide, and he looked directly at Finn, looked down at his knee, and looked back at Finn and was like, oh, I'm gonna put a submission hold on that, and that's exactly what he did. He targeted on the leg with a submission hold, though Finn Balor was able to counter out of it, and he ended up winning the matchup with the coup de grace and the 1916 combination with the hurt leg. Something that I noticed after the matchup, you know, normally Finn Balor does the whole finger guns thing on the top rope. I noticed he didn't do that after this matchup, and also, like, after he made the pinfall, I kind of noticed that he was, like, clutching at his hand and stuff a lot. Like, he was, like, opening and closing his hands a lot, kind of like he was trying to get feeling back into it, which really worries me that something might be wrong with his hand. Hopefully I'm wrong, but, I mean, I guess we already have confirmation that there was one injury here tonight in the main event. We'll get onto that later on, but I hope everything's okay with everybody on the card, because there was a lot of brutal moments here tonight, kind of like in our next match. Yeah, up next was the North American Championship ladder match. Keith Lee relinquishing the North American title for more people to have opportunities after winning the championship from Adam Cole in the winner-take-all matchup at NXT Great American Bash. Not counter-programming at all. But here tonight we had Damian Priest coming out looking like a HBK. We've seen him do Damian Priest. We've seen him do Razor Ramon in the past, so it seems only appropriate that he do the other one here for this ladder match. We had Bronson Reed coming out dressed as Bam Bam Bigelow. I thought that was really cool. The matchup started with Damian Priest punching Velveteen Dream in the face after Velveteen Dream was telling him to get out of the way so he could do his entrance. So apparently, since TakeOver in Your House, Velveteen Dream became a heel again with like a little blonde goatee, and I don't know, there's all this stuff about him and how the WWE isn't doing a proper investigation, which is a load of crap. But I mean, I'm gonna try and stay away from that stuff for this. But, you know, let's just say I didn't take a lot of notes concerning Velveteen Dream just because I didn't want to really give him a big spotlight. But, yeah, that's kind of how the matchup started. And from there, it was just highlight after highlight. I kind of had to condense this down so much just because there were so many highlights. So, yeah, here we go. Towards the beginning of the matchup, Velveteen Dream, well, here's another one. Velveteen Dream is going under the ring for a ladder. Grimes kind of tosses him out of the way, and then when Grimes reaches under the ring to get a ladder, it's just like a tiny step ladder, which is kind of funny. Later on in the matchup, Cameron Grimes has like 2 ladders set up in the ring. He's got 1 foot on each, climbing up both of them, and then he gets pulled apart by Priest and Dream, and like his legs do the splits. It was a very nice comedy spot. Later on, we had a multi-man splash in the corner from Bronson Reed. They were all like jumbled together with like a whole bunch of ladders and stuff like that. It looked really cool. And then that got followed up by a big Tower of Doom spot with a powerbomb, a German suplex, and a superplex, so that looked really awesome. We had Damian Priest running up a ladder and diving out onto everybody. That was after, I believe, Bronson Reed did a big dive onto everybody, so that was really cool. After this, Candice LeRae comes out and starts attacking Cameron Grimes, and that was really cool. And then Johnny like assists Candice for like a Hurricane Rana onto Cameron Grimes, to the outside, onto everybody, which looked really cool. And Johnny nearly won from this, except Bronson Reed was able to stop him. And then one of the most brutal spots of the matchup came when Bronson Reed was on the top of the ladder, Gargano's down on the mat, and then Candice LeRae kind of like jumps on Bronson Reed's back, like a piggyback position, and then Bronson Reed does a big body splash off the top of the ladder onto Johnny Gargano with Candice LeRae on his back. So Johnny got crushed by not only Bronson Reed, but by his own wife. That was a very brutal looking spot, and it looked very, very cool. Later on, Damian Priest and Bronson Reed were battling up on the top of the ladder, but Cameron Grimes tried to sneak in and nearly won before Velveteen Dream stopped them. Although later on, Cameron Grimes was able to hit a cave-in on Damian Priest, but then Gargano took out Grimes with a sunset flip powerbomb onto a ladder bridge, which he didn't really connect with, but it still looked very brutal even if he didn't really connect with it. It was like on the edge of the ladder. And then Gargano got taken out by Dream Valley Driver onto Damian Priest, who was on a ladder bridge on the outside. And then as Velveteen Dream was climbing up the ladder to try and win, Bronson Reed tips over the ladder, and then Dream gets sent over the top rope, over the ring barricade, and then through some tables. I think the camera didn't cut at the right moment because we kind of missed the point of impact, but like just the way that he fell, like it looked very, very brutal. And then the finish to the matchup came when Gargano and Grimes were on the top of the ladder battling over the championship, and Gargano swung the title into Grimes' face, knocked him off. I thought Johnny was going to win here, and then Damian Priest came out of nowhere, and then Johnny tried to do it again, and he missed this time, and then he was able to unhook the championship, and so we have a tug of war over the championship between Priest and Gargano, and then in the end, Damian Priest won out the battle, and Damian Priest is your new NXT North American champion. I believe I had Damian Priest for the win here. So yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. I can't wait to see what Damian Priest does with the championship. I'm excited to probably see a rivalry between him and Bronson Reed. Probably one between him and Cameron Grimes. Maybe one between him and Johnny Gargano. You know, a lot of options. After his matchup with Finn Balor, I feel like that was the real eye-opening match for a lot of people. I'm sure before that, a lot of people just kind of saw him as like some sort of weird club version of Baron Corbin, but hopefully people see him for a really good competitor after this matchup, and I can't wait to see what he does with the North American Championship next. Alright, next up we have Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee. So this was kind of a rivalry that I wasn't really interested in seeing at the beginning, just because the whole point of the rivalry was Pat McAfee calling Adam Cole short, and I hate those types of rivalries, especially when they were doing it on SmackDown with Chad Gable, and I hated it even more here on NXT just because, like, Adam Cole is the former NXT champion here, okay? Like, we do not need to be belittling Adam Cole at all. Like, who gives a crap if he's kind of short? Like, he's still a great wrestler, which I guess makes sense since Pat McAfee was playing the bad guy in this whole scenario. And I thought this was a really good match, and Pat McAfee played his part very, very well. Like, towards the beginning, he was getting very cocky, even just after, you know, doing, like, a lockup with Adam Cole, and then like later on when Pat's trying to do the Ric Flair strut, Cole tries to fake him out with a super kick, and then Pat just drops to the mat and is like freaked out, and Adam Cole's like, I could have super kicked you there, and so Pat kind of rolls to the outside and starts bad mouthing him next to his posse and stuff like that, and this brings out the Undisputed Era, and then all of them start arguing on the outside and stuff like that, and then at some point Pat McAfee rolls back in the ring and then does like a big swanton dive out onto everybody from off the top rope. I thought this was an incredible moment of two big incredible moments during this entire matchup here tonight for Pat McAfee. I also have here in my notes, Pat does a dive onto everybody. Eat your heart out, Gronk. Apparently, there was the video of Vince McMahon doing the dive that Rob Gronkowski did at WrestleMania, which apparently the Gronk was too afraid to do. So I thought that was funny that Pat McAfee was able to do this big dive and the Gronk wasn't able to do the little stage dive. I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, Pat did really good here. The only thing that I would kind of say was like some of the kicks seemed kind of strange. I'm guessing it was just because he was trying to do it as like a very cocky person. I don't know. It kind of looked like he was doing a weird dance. But yeah, for the majority, in the beginning, he was kind of just doing like a headlock on Adam Cole, channeling his inner Randy Orton. But later on, they got into a hockey fight. Adam Cole pulled Pat's shirt over him. And then Pat, he ducked the last shot, tried to go for a roll-up pin, but Adam Cole was able to kick out and hit the backstabber on Pat for a 2 count, which was really cool. And then this was the other cool moment from Pat in this matchup. So Pat has Adam Cole on the top rope. He's trying to go for a superplex. And Adam Cole, he grabs Pat and pushes him backwards, trying to push him off the top rope. Pat McAfee does a backflip off the top rope, lands on his feet, and then does like a box jump back up to the top rope, and then hits the superplex on Adam Cole for a 2 count. It was an incredible moment. I didn't see it coming. Obviously, Pat is a very agile and healthy individual. Obviously, he played football, so he's definitely in shape. Didn't know he could do the backflip. It was really cool. Glad he landed on it. Hopefully he's not injured. Glad they didn't have to do some stupid camera cut editing thing like they did with, who was it, Dexter Lumis, when he did his dive to the outside and landed on his feet. Like he was trying to be Ricochet or something like that. It was funny. But yeah, there was a moment later on in the matchup where I thought Pat was going to win. The referee, I guess, like got knocked down or like taken down or distracted or something like that, and then Pat was able to hit a low blow on Adam Cole. He hits a clothesline, and then he hits the punt kick And I was like, oh my god, he's about to win. And thankfully, Adam Cole was able to kick out. I was very worried about that. And so Pat goes to the top rope. He's going to try and hit a double axe handle from off the top rope. And when he comes off the top rope, Adam Cole easily catches him with a super kick in midair. And then he starts badmouthing him. He's like, I'm going to end you. I'm going to finish you. And he's like about to pull down his knee pad to give him the last shot. But then he's like, no. I'm going to give you something a little bit more brutal. And then he hits the Panama Sunrise. And during all this, if you guys remember in my predictions video, I said if Pat McAfee kicks out of the Panama Sunrise, I will be very mad. And I was watching this with bated breath. I was very, very worried about this spot. So Adam Cole hits the Panama Sunrise, makes the cover. 1, 2, 3. Adam Cole wins. And I sighed. I let out a big, big breath of relief. I was very happy that Adam Cole won, and I was very happy that Pat McAfee did not kick out of the Panama Sunrise. Pat McAfee does not need to be kicking out of the Panama Sunrise. I'm okay with like a super kick here and there, and the backstabber and stuff like that were good kick out moments, but we do not need Pat McAfee kicking out of the Panama Sunrise. So I thought that was very good. I thought this was a really good matchup between the two, and Pat did really, really well. Would I want to see him in another matchup? No. Do I think they're going to put him in another matchup? Maybe, but like I said in my predictions, I trusted NXT doing a celebrity matchup more than I do Raw or SmackDown, just because I feel like they handle it a heck of a lot better, and tonight proved to be exactly what I thought. I thought it was going to be better than what I thought, and my expectations were exceeded. I thought it was a really good matchup, and thumbs up to both guys. And next up we have the NXT Women's Championship. It's Eosh Rai versus Dakota Kai. This was never really a matchup that I was going to take seriously, as like I 100% never would have predicted that there would be a championship change. I never thought, no offense, but I didn't think Dakota Kai was going to win the championship here at all. Just kind of because in recent months, like before becoming number one contender, just Dakota Kai was like continuously like losing. Like at the last Takeover event, she lost in the 6-women tag, and then like before that, she lost to Tegan Nox. I think on NXT TV, she was losing a couple matches before then, and then the only reason she got the number one contender spot was because Mercedes Martinez cost Rhea Ripley the number one contenders matchup. So even off of all that, I had no doubt that Io was going to win here, but they still gave Dakota Kai a lot here in this match. Through a lot of the matchup, Io's arm was being targeted by Dakota Kai for like quite a while, until Io was able to make a comeback. She hit like a very nice palm strike, a flapjack, a 619, and then a springboard dropkick. She also hit a very brutal double foot stomp on the apron onto Dakota, but Dakota Kai is able to fire back, and then Io hits like some heavy strikes, comes off the ropes. Dakota Kai catches her with scorpion kick. Dakota Kai misses in the corner with the big boot, and Io hits her with the double knees. She tries to go for the moonsault, but Dakota Kai stops it. Instead gets hit with a Tree of Woe double foot stomp from Io. At one point, Dakota Kai locks in an armbar, and then Io's able to get to the ropes. And then Dakota Kai catches her with a GTK, or the go-to kick, from like off. I guess Io was like hanging off the top rope, but thankfully she got her foot on the bottom rope and was able to break up the pin, which very much ticked off Dakota Kai, understandably so. At one point, Dakota Kai, I guess, accidentally big booted the ref and took out the referee. So we got a ref bump. You know what was coming here. So Raquel Gonzalez, who's at ringside, she made her big return in a really cool way on like the Go Home episode of NXT. She got involved and she powerbombed Io. She hit that brutal powerbomb on Eosh Rai. Gets the referee up. Referee counts 1, 2. Io kicks out, and Raquel's on the outside. She's freaking out. Dakota Kai's on the inside. She's freaking out. Dakota Kai tries to go for the go-to kick again. Io gets her into a crossface. Dakota Kai tries to reverse out of it, but Io catches her with a very brutal knee. Like, she freaking shoves her knee, like, nearly through the face of Dakota Kai. It looks really cool. And then the finish to the matchup came when Dakota Kai rolled to the outside next to Raquel. Io goes up top and hits a moonsault to the outside onto Raquel and Dakota Kai, tosses Kai back in the ring. Io hits a moonsault on Dakota Kai for the win, retains the championship, and then after the matchup, Raquel Gonzalez attacks Dakota Kai, or not attacks Dakota Kai, attacks Eosh Rai, and then this brings out Rhea Ripley, and then we have a face-off between Raquel Gonzalez and Rhea Ripley, which is awesome. I've wanted them to kind of bring Rhea Ripley into the whole Raquel Gonzalez thing, just because, like, I know that a long time ago, Rhea Ripley and Raquel Gonzalez were tag team partners. They were part of a tag team called R&R, or I think they also called it the Savage Sisters a little bit. But yeah, I thought that was going to be a really big story beat when Raquel Gonzalez joined Dakota Kai. If you guys remember my review back when the matchup happened between Tegan Knox, I believe it was TakeOver Chicago 2, when it was Dakota Kai versus Tegan Knox in the street fight, and Raquel Gonzalez aligned herself with Dakota Kai. I thought that was going to be part of the story for her, was, you know, Dakota Kai got left behind by her friend Tegan Knox. Raquel Gonzalez got left behind by her friend Rhea Ripley heading into the War Games matchup. You know, Raquel Gonzalez, Rhea Ripley's good friend. Rhea Ripley didn't pick her for the TakeOver, or for the War Games team, and she got mad about it, and she aligned herself with Dakota Kai. I thought that was going to be a story beat, but unfortunately they didn't. So hopefully that they touch on that after what happened here tonight. But also after Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez left, we got a cool shot of Eosh Rai standing in the ring holding the championship, and then Rhea Ripley's on the stage kind of in the background looking at Io and looking at the NXT Women's Championship. So, you know, at some point we're going to get Rhea Ripley versus Io for the Women's Championship. But, you know, I'm enjoying the build. I know a lot of people are fans of Eosh Rai. I think she's really, really great. But if I'm given the choice between who I want as the NXT Women's Champion, if I'm given the choice between Eosh Rai and Rhea Ripley, I'm going to go with Rhea Ripley just because I think she's badass. Which is not to say Io is not badass either. But like I said, given the choice between them, I'll take Rhea Ripley. Alright, and then up next, we had a few, like, kind of video package type of deals. We had NXT UK announcing that it is returning on September 17th, which seems to be pretty cool. I don't watch NXT UK, just kind of not really my thing, but, you know, I still try to keep up with, like, some of the big moments and stuff like that. So it's going to be returning on September 17th. Cool for those that watch it. I hope you guys are excited that it's going to be making its return. Speaking of returns, Tommaso Ciampa was announced that he is returning this Wednesday on NXT. At first, when I had first wrote this note, I was questioning why they would announce it in advance. I figured it would make more sense for it to be kind of like a surprise. But, I mean, I don't know. He's been gone for so long. The last time that we saw him was kind of like in a backstage thing where they were asking, like, what's next for Tommaso Ciampa? And then he just left, and he's been gone for so long. So I guess it kind of makes sense why they would announce it. Like, he talked to William Regal and said, like, I think I'm ready to come back. And also just because they kind of want to get some advertising so they can announce something big ahead of this week's episode of NXT so people tune in to watch, which I guess that also makes sense. And then we go backstage, and I guess out in the parking lot somewhere there's a hot tub, and Damian Priest is celebrating his North American Championship win by jumping into the hot tub with his championship and with two beautiful women. So that's how he's going to celebrate his championship victory, is getting his championship covered in hot tub water. So he's definitely going to have to clean that off later. And that brings us into our main event, which is Keith Lee versus Karrion Kross for the NXT Championship. They started this off with the awesome video package. If you have not seen the video package, please, for the love of God, after this video is over, please look it up on YouTube. It is amazing, and I love the Metallica song that goes with it. It was really good. A lot of people said that this match was kind of boring for the majority of it, and I guess we kind of have a reason as to why that is, but before that, this matchup started off really like hot and heavy, especially for Keith Lee, because he rocked Karrion Kross with a shoulder tackle very early on in the matchup, causing Kross to retreat to the outside, and then they're battling on the outside near the plexiglass, and then Kross tries to punch Lee, but Lee moves his head and Kross punches the plexiglass, but it doesn't look like it hurt him, and then Keith Lee just kind of stares at him. Lee tries to punch at him, and then Kross kind of puts his arm in between the barricade and the plexiglass and like kicks the barricade, injuring Keith Lee's arm. And then kind of the majority of the matchup here on out was Kross like targeting in on the arm. He hit like a really cool rolling arm bar, and then Keith Lee was able to counter out of it with like a one-handed power bomb. And then apparently at some point Karrion Kross, I guess, separated his shoulder, and there was some people that were posting videos online of like when they thought when they thought the injury happened, and they thought it happened on this Doomsday suplex, this Doomsday Saito suplex, because when he hits it, you can see like the before and after of like where his shoulder is. Like it looks a little bit janky, like after he hits the suplex and makes the pin on Keith Lee. But I mean, honestly, until after the matchup, until after people were saying it online, I had no clue that there was any sort of injury here from Kross, just because like even after it looked like he hurt his arm, like he still went at a very high level. Like it didn't look like he was missing a step at all. But he locks on the cross jacket at one point, but Keith Lee was able to make it to the ropes, and then Keith Lee mounts a comeback. He hits the Grizzly Magnum, the double hand overhand chop, and he hits the Spirit Bomb, but he only gets a 2 count. And so Keith Lee tries to go up to the top rope for the moonsault, but then Karrion Kross stops him. So both guys are on like the middle rope. Keith Lee grabs Kross by the throat and looks like he's going to do like some middle rope powerbomb, middle rope choke slam or something like that. Kross counters out of that and hits a Doomsday Saito suplex from the middle rope, makes the cover, 1, 2, 3, wins the NXT Championship. I thought the thing that kind of killed the ending for me was just that the crowd didn't really react to it like it was a big moment. Like, they just kind of looked at it as like, oh, he hit a back suplex off the middle rope. Like, I don't know. Like, when he made the cover, they just weren't making enough noise for me. I saw it as a big moment when he hit the Doomsday suplex. I thought it looked very brutal. But, yeah, I don't know. The crowd just kind of didn't really react like it was a dangerous moment or a big moment. And then when the cover was made, it was kind of like made of shock. But, you know, Karrion Kross won. We have a new NXT champion. I believe it was Triple H confirmed that Kross was going in for an MRI on Monday. I'm recording this on Tuesday morning, so I guess I'll hear about whether or not he actually is injured with a shoulder injury, or if he'll have to relinquish the championship after just winning it. So I guess we'll figure that out. But yeah, you see the scene. You've been seeing the scene on your screen the entire time during this review. Kross standing on the stage with the NXT Championship and Scarlett, so he's winning in more ways than one, but hopefully he comes out okay. Hopefully his shoulder's not hurt too bad. As for Keith Lee, I was wondering initially after TakeOver what they're going to do with Keith Lee, if they would do a rematch between him and Kross. Apparently I didn't have to wait long, because during SummerSlam there was a promo package hyping up that Keith Lee was coming to Monday Night Raw. So yeah, I got to watch Monday Night Raw last night, and I got to see Keith Lee's debut, so I guess it kind of helps that I waited a little while to do this review. I originally recorded it on Monday morning, but after I was done recording it, I was exporting it, or trying to export it, and it said the file was corrupted, so my entire review was basically deleted, which is why I had to do it again on Tuesday morning. So I guess it's okay that I waited. So Keith Lee's debut on Raw was not really... it was pretty good. Some big moments were... They changed his entrance theme from, Bask in His Glory and the really good, rap that he does. They changed it to some kind of, generic rock music. It was very strange. He interrupted Randy Orton, set up a match with Randy Orton in the main event. So that was really cool that we got Keith Lee versus Randy Orton in the main event. That was really good. And it was a really good matchup. They changed Keith Lee's gear as well. They put a shirt on him, which I swear I can just hear Vince McMahon, or Mr. McMahon, whichever you want to call him. I can just hear him looking at Keith Lee and saying we can't have people seeing that gut. Why? Why does he need a shirt? Who cares? People are fat sometimes. That does not stop Keith Lee. Have you seen the things that Keith Lee can do? Keith Lee does not need to put on a freaking shirt. It was just so strange why they had to have him do that. I swear, I really hope this has happened time and time again with the Viking Experience and Bobby Roode and all this stuff. There's always something that they need to change that does not need changed. But even despite that, I still think Keith Lee's gonna do great on Raw or SmackDown or wherever he ends up just staying. I'm sure he's gonna stay on Raw, but I still know that he's gonna do great things, and I wish him nothing but the best. But first night on the main roster or on Raw, just a lot of weird decisions. Why change his theme? Why change his outfit? It just seems so weird. Hopefully they'll give back his old music. Hopefully he stops wearing the shirt and all that stuff. I highly doubt it, but like I said, I still think he's gonna do a lot of great stuff. But anyways, as for this TakeOver event, I thought it was another really good one in the whole lockdown era. Loved the stage look, the big 3 X's. I thought it looked really good. Not really a lot of bad moments on the card for tonight. Hopefully Karrion Kross is okay, and I wish nothing but the best for Keith Lee on Raw. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts on TakeOver. Favorite matchup, favorite moment, favorite spot of the night, I guess. What did you think of the NXT Championship match? If Karrion Kross is not injured, what would you guys want to see him do? I would assume that they're probably going to do at some point Kross versus Ciampa for the NXT Championship. That is if he isn't injured. And what do you guys think of Keith Lee debuting on Monday Night Raw? Let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you guys next time for the next Talking TakeOver.